Hi my dear friends, I welcome you all to Learner's Planet. So our today's topic is all about hurricane. This week's topmost news is all about Hurricane Sandy, which hit the US East Coast and it affected almost 22 states. But before stepping on to Hurricane Sandy, let us first see that what is meant by hurricane. Now let us start with today's interesting session and let us see that what is actually meant by a hurricane. My dear friends, a hurricane is a severe rotating tropical storm with heavy rains and cyclonic winds exceeding 74 miles, that is 119 kilometers per hour, especially a storm which occurs in the northern hemisphere. So my dear friends, a hurricane is a tropical storm with winds that have reached a constant speed of 74 miles per hour or more. The eye of the storm is usually 20 to 30 miles wide and it may extend over 400 miles. How frightening it is. My dear friends, you might be very amazed to know this, that the dangers of a storm include torrential rains, high winds and storm surges. A hurricane can last for 2 weeks or more over open water, and it can run apart across the entire length of the eastern seaboard. So basically, hurricanes originate in the tropical parts of the Atlantic Ocean or the Caribbean Sea, and it generally moves towards north side, and they lose force when they move over land or even colder ocean waters. So basically, it is a tropical storm with very high winds speed that have reached a constant speed of 74 miles per hour or more. So I want to add that a hurricane is a huge storm and it has strong winds spiraling inward and upward at speeds of 75 to 200 miles per hour. Each hurricane usually lasts for over a week, moving 10 to 20 miles per hour over the open ocean. So it is all about the hurricanes which form from the oceans, from the open waters. And that is what makes it a huge storm. So my dear friends, when hurricanes gather, heat and energy is produced through the contact with warm ocean waters, and evaporation from the seawater increases their power. Hurricanes rotate in a counterclockwise direction around an eye. That was what I was saying before, that the eye of the storm is usually 20 to 30 miles wide and it may extend over 400 miles. So it is all because that hurricanes rotate in a counterclockwise direction because of the high wind speed. Now basically the center of the storm or the eye is the calmest part. It has only light winds and fair weather. But when they come onto land, the heavy rain, strong winds and large waves can damage buildings, trees and cars too. So this is all about a hurricane. This was introduction about the hurricane. Now let us see that how hurricanes are named. Yes, my dear friends, hurricane-like storms are called by different names in the different regions of the world. Like hurricane-like storms, for example, some hurricanes are named as Nilam or they are named as Sandy, but it depends that at what part of the world it is happening or it occurs. So it is named accordingly. Now, if a hurricane happens or occurs in India, then we will name it as a cyclone, but not as a hurricane. So basically, prior to 1979, some names were just dropped and replaced. And presently, names are picked by a committee of the World Meteorological Organization. So my dear friends, since 1953, the Tropical Prediction Center has produced lists of names for hurricanes. As a tropical depression develops into a tropical storm, it is given the next available name on the list, which is prepared in alphabetical order, and even the alternates from between male and female names. So basically, I would like to say that from 1950 to 1952, tropical cyclones of the North Atlantic Ocean were identified by the phonetic alphabet. But in 1953, the US Weather Bureau switched to women's name. Now, what happened over here in the 19th century, that the rest of the world eventually caught on, and naming rights now go by the World Meteorological Organization, which uses different sets of names depending on the part of the world the storm is in. Now, like around the US, only women's names were used until 1979, when it was decided that they should alternate a list that included men's names too. So now there are 6 different name lists that alternate each year. So if a hurricane does significant damage, its name is retired and replaced with another. Like Atlantic hurricanes, they have been named since 1950 with Able, A-B-A-B-L-E. Then 1953's Alice was the first real human named storm. Let me write it down for you. 1953's Alice. Now this was the first real human named storm. Traditionally, male names have been included since 1979, and Eastern Pacific hurricanes have been named since 1960 with the name as Ennet. So in this way, there are total of 6 different name lists that alternate each year. Now, here you can see a beautiful picture of our Earth. Now here you can see some tropical depressions or tropical storm is forming. This is what we call as hurricane. Now, as per the World Meteorological Department, they are divided into certain sections. So let us see in what sections they are divided and what names have been given. Yes, here I have quoted some examples for you. Like the name hurricane is given to the systems that develop over the Atlantic or the Eastern Pacific Oceans. Like in the Western North Pacific and Philippines, these systems are called typhoons, while in the Indian and South Pacific Ocean, they are called cyclones. So hurricane or cyclone or typhoons, they are all the same. The difference is that they happen in the different part of the world, and that is why they are named accordingly. So my dear friends, presently names are picked by a committee of World Meteorological Department, and names are subject to change due to their retirements and changes. However, they update as needed and they make us aware of these changes as soon as possible. So this was all about the names of the hurricanes. Take care and have a nice time.